The philosophy of 42. There was this joke when I was growing up as a kid between my mom, my siblings, and my friends and myself. The joke was the answer was 42, but what is the question? Though it was meant to be funny, it really does sum up the fact that there are questions that are ridiculous to ask. They are things that you can never know the answer to. For instance, if someone was to ask me what it feels like to be a Filipino hooker in Vietnam in 1934, I'd have to tell them 42. There's no way for me, being a Caucasian male, age 45 in the year 2021, to know anything about being a Filipino hooker. And back in when? Way back when. It's just impossible. So 42 is the answer I give. I am going to try to address two questions that the answer should always be 42 to by anybody. And I'm going to address it by giving you a little scenario and hoping that that scenario conveys the understanding that I have with it. Okay, so first, the two questions. Question number one, the hard problem of consciousness. The seer and the seen. I'm not really going to break it down what it is. I'm going to let you guys go ahead and do whatever little research you have to do to figure that out. But the hard problem of consciousness, that answer is 42. The second one, the God problem. Does God exist? If he does exist, why do all this? What is the reasoning for it? Once again, 42. Question, just fucking ridiculous. But, the scenario. Okay. Scenario plays out real quickly like this. You're out one night drinking, you get roofied. You wake up whatever amount of time later, and where you wake up is pitch black. You can't see a thing. But something happens as you're waking up from the very core center of you, your exact center. At that point, it begins illuminating. As you awaken, the more and more and more illuminates. From the inside of you, it is brightest, it is strongest, the illumination is the hardest. To the outside of you, where your field of vision eventually fades into nothingness. Now, how do you determine where you're at? Obviously, you stand up, finding that there is, in fact, still an up-down direction. You look around. As far as the eye can see in any one direction, or as far as your illumination allows you to see, nothing, blackness. So, in order to determine where you are, you have to begin to wander. So you pick a direction and start walking. You walk for whatever, an indefinite amount of time, and eventually you come to a stop, a wall, so to speak. There are no distinguishing features of this wall aside from the fact that you cannot see through it, but you have no means of being able to figure out how far it runs in any which direction. All that you know for sure is that after traveling this indefinite amount of time, you have reached a stop. Next thing that you can do, or should do, would be to about face and begin walking back in the other direction. And continue. Eventually you'll come across something. But what you come across is yet again another nondescript stop. But now you have a linear understanding. Now you know that if you walk in the opposite direction for that indefinitive amount of time, for the same amount of time, in that direction, that you will again reach a stop. So you have a line, a linear perspective. At this point, you choose a 90-degree angle, one direction or the other, and begin wandering. Once again, you reach a nondescript stop. And you turn around, about face, and off you go. After that indefinite amount of time passes, you hit, yet again, the fourth stop. Now at this point, you're certain that you're in some kind of an enclosure. If there is an exit, you haven't found it. So, the next thing that you can do is begin to trace along this stop and follow it. So you pick one direction or the other and begin to follow the stop. You travel that stop all the way until you reach what seems to be a 90-degree corner. Go ahead and take the corner, follow it around, and eventually you realize there's 3 more corners. Now you know for sure you are in an enclosure. Can't really see how far up it goes, but you have to assume there's a stop that way as well. There's one below. You're in a box. Okay, you're in a box. So, you can take that box and, by manner of paces, figure out, traveling each direction, where the center is. As you get back to the center, I want you to realize that your illumination, as bright as it's going to be now, as awake and as aware as you are of things right now, still does not even allow you to go as far as you know is there. You still fall short. You don't see the 4 walls. This, to me, is the reason why those 2 questions can only result in 42. Now, why? Well, in the case of the God problem, you are inside of this box. You cannot see what's beyond that box. It is impossible to know what is on the other side of that stop. Hell, you don't even know how thick the stop is. It could be paper thin. It could really just take a little more effort than what you put in, and you would break through it. But you don't know. You don't know. No matter what science is available, no matter what knowledge you think you have, no matter what philosophical games you want to play in your own head, truth is, it's all mental masturbation. And I think I'll just go ahead and leave this in there. It's mental masturbation, guys. There's no way to ever know what exists outside of that sphere of reality. Just like there is no way to ever know where the center, the brightest point is, and then illumination inside. There's no way. Anything else beyond 42 is in fact mental masturbation. And I think I've said that like 3 times now. So, real quick, so this video doesn't drag on for 30 or 40 minutes of random shit. I'm gonna wrap this all up. There's a friend of mine out there that I just recently realized is still making videos. I wanted to give my old pal Chicken Wings and Beer one little clue about a question he asked in one of his videos. Lois, L.O.I.S. League of. That's what you were missing, my friend. Next time.